Yeah,
Yo,
what's
what are you
good?
doing, man?
Just out here living the good life in Vegas, baby.
I love it. Oh, you're here.
Yes.
Loving you. How are you?
Good.
Cause we had a little hiccup yesterday and I'm worried about you now. You all right?
Oh no, yesterday I was fuck, what was happening yesterday?
You were in the
Oh,
doctor's
I just
office or
totally
something.
I totally spaced out and I was I hate to even say this. I was getting a massage and I was like blacked out.
Oh,
And
nice. Okay, I
then
forgive
I
you.
came in there and I was like,
That's okay.
shit, I missed my interview. They're like, yeah, you did. And
That's
they're like,
okay. I
we didn't want to
forgive you.
interrupt you. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry.
No, no, don't be sorry. Massages always come first, dude.
Dude, it was the first one I had in like 2 months and uh, wow.
Yeah, important
This lady
stuff.
was like, this is what you have going on back here is I don't even know where to start. It's like, it's cool, man. It's me throwing
That-
around myself around the stage for, the last few months.
yeah, well, or the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
things with you?
Starts to wear. I'm good, man. I'm just doing the thing, the boogie woogie in Vegas. Tomorrow night, MGM Grand, dude, and you're the headliner. Like, fuck yeah! Last time I saw you at the MGM, you were the support act, but now Papa
Oh,
Roach is big time, the
that's good
headliner.
shit. That's good
I
shit.
mean, that's the shit. How does that feel? Like, dude,
It's
MGM
it's
Grand.
it's a dream. Straight up it is, like this tour has been one of the best tours of our career, period. Straight up, no chaser. Like Europe was amazing. We did it over there. We took a band called Wage War over there with us.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Tons of sold out shows. And now we're here in America. We're packing out these arenas. And it's like, it's just so validating in a way, like just because we've been doing this for so long and to be able to step into that headliner space and put on the show that we've been dreaming about for years and elevating the production and just the connection we're making with the fans. It's like, it really is special. And, everything happens for a reason, right? Like I had to like take my lumps and, you know, learn what I needed to learn to get where I am now. And it's like I'm just so ready for this moment.
There's a resurgence
Oh,
of popularity of the music, yeah, of the late '90s. Yourself, Deftones, also
yep.
headlining the MGM, and to see Limp Bizkit make it back to where they're just
Oh,
packing
yeah.
house. You're like, it's really, really cool. So just so happy to be a part of this journey for its entire life. Like
Absolutely. It
for
is cool.
me,
It's cool for everybody. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Even if it kills me, um, when you first heard the bones of that song, the new song or
Yeah.
fresh song or whatever the fuck, we're trying to use different words than new. But when you first heard that song or the bones of that song, it hit you differently. Is that
Oh,
true?
yeah. It just had this cinematic feel to it. It had like this larger than life cinematic element that just caught my ear. And I remember just hitting up Tobin right after I heard the demo. I'm like, bro, y'all like hit the mark on this one. I can't wait to cut a vocal on it. And every time we go in to make records, there's always this one that just strikes me right off the bat. Like this is the first one I want to go work on. And it felt like the right statement, musically and creatively. And some life happened and there were, lyrics were inspired and it just turned into this beast of a song. And I love it so much. We've been opening the show with it. It's just one of those it's a statement. It really is. And it's live. It's a great song live too. I think the tempo is perfect for arenas.
It's a breakup song, but not your own.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. My son, he just went through this really rough breakup and just saw my son leveled. He loved this person that really wasn't who he thought they were, and so it was a rough thing to watch, like my boy fall like that. And just, I knew he had to feel walk through the feelings and get through this. But I told him, I'm like, I wish I could shoulder this for you. I wish I could carry this weight for you. You know, I wish I could, but we're gonna have to just stand in this fire together. You gotta walk through this one, and I'll be right there with you. And that's the story behind this song. And it's tough watching people you love struggle.
Right.
And but the thing, the silver lining in it is being able to be there for somebody. It's that selflessness, and it's extended its way into different areas of my life, and walking with other men that have fallen and trying to get back up and dust themselves off, is a story that I'll continue to live, and I've had people in my life that have done that for me too, pick me up when I was down, and I think it's just I think it was a worthy story. And plus, like, my oldest son loves like the heavy Papa Roach. He's always like, dude, give me the heavy riffs. And so it just seemed like very fitting, and
Yeah.
he loves the song, and he's doing great. He's killing it. He's
You have
killing it.
two boys,
I got
right?
three.
Three. Okay. Three. How old are they? Are 19, 22, and
Yeah,
like close?
Mikhail just turned 23. That's my oldest. 20, Jagger's 20, and then Brixton is 11. And so yeah.
So it's an interesting time to be raising young men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my question to you regarding that is, what do you see that you recognize, right, as an older man, knowing you were in that place? But what do you see that's different too, because of maybe just being an old, a grown up now, but also the times that we're in, where young men are feeling pushed out. I mean, I'm not sure what they're feeling, but
Yeah,
they're feeling something.
I'll say this. I'll just say this. Me and my wife have done our best job to raise some like strong, respectful, loving, compassionate, tough as nails boys. And there's a moment when you gotta like pull your bootstraps up and spray some tough on it and get on with life. And then there's moments where you have to really take account of why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and deal with the emotions so they don't stack up and become this tsunami of pain and struggle. And I think that that's important. I think for me, being able to keep a very open dialogue with my boys about life and how things come at us, and we can't do this thing alone. It takes community, it takes a brotherhood, and I think that story is important. I think men are struggling. If you look at the suicide rates, it's like, you
Yes.
know 3 to 4 out of the 5 are men. So there is a struggle going on for real, and we're addressing that. And I think, it starts in the home. For me, it starts in the home. How do I raise boys that can, you know, be able to be resilient, and not just have everything be, I'm the victim, like what's my part in it, And so I think ownership and accountability is important. And, these are things that I've learned in my life that I just want to pass on to my boys. And they played sports growing up, so they learned how to be part of a team, and spray some tough on it. I always tell them, dude, just spray. Sometimes you gotta spray a little tough on it, boy. They're like, Dad.
I was when I was, kind of looking into what I was going to talk to you about and doing
Yeah,
whatnot. I came across Last Resort, the video, and I hadn't seen it in a minute. And I was like, oh, let me
yeah,
watch this for a second, And so I watched it in the little Elvis stage. That's how I always saw it, the lights. And I was watching you, and I was like, I don't recognize him. Do
yeah.
you?
It's the young me, man. I'm so a million miles from that person. There are threads and a common bond between where I'm at now and where I was. I always was like cared about people. That was like I had this compassionate heart, but I was just young and reckless. And, I had to have a certain amount of like, I don't know, maybe narcissism in a way to be able to do this thing, to be able to like go, we're the best, check us out,
Yeah.
like to be ballsy enough to walk into a room with Fred Durst and like unplug the speaker and be like, yo, what's up, P Roach in the house? And they're like, who the hell are these guys? You know what I mean? Like just like trying to sell, people demos straight to their face. Like I had to have this certain amount of like, we're the best kind of vibe going on. And because that's what it took to sell yourself, I think, back in the day. And I mean, I think I got a certain amount of that when we step on the stage, it's maybe comes off a little cocky, but it's like there's
You
a
have
time and
to.
place, right? And
Yes, of course.
it's that's the stages where I let it shine. I think I probably try to let it shine in some places that I didn't need to let it shine.
Well, you definitely had a long road here,
Oh
getting,
yeah.
especially the early days. Having someone like Sharon Osbourne, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
let rip into you. That couldn't have been fun at all.
No, it was definitely not fun, but I needed it. It's kind of like I had the world in the palm of my hands and I was just acting like a numbskull, starting riots everywhere I went. And she's like, "Hey, listen, you idiot. Like, if you want to have a respected name in this business, you got to stop being a tool bag. And I mean, she used some more colorful words, I think,
Right,
in the moment.
right.
But I needed to be rattled at that point because, it's like I could have totally gotten in a lot of trouble, a lot worse trouble than I had gotten in at the time. And I learned my lessons and they were valuable lessons.
What do you tell the kid in the video of Last Resort when you look at it? What do you tell that young punk kid who's
So
cocky as hell,
I'm
screaming,
just going
"This
to
is
hold
my
my
last
breath.
resort"?
I ain't got to tell him nothing. Because I wouldn't have listened. At that time, I was just like, dude, we're getting it. So I just saved my breath, be like, good luck, Bubba. See you on the, you'll
Someone once
figure it
told
out.
you, someone once told you that the problem with rock and roll was you guys getting sober. And I know it was
Yeah.
an irritant, but it was also inspiration. In what way?
Oh, yeah. Like I was so irritated, man. I remember my wife had sent me this big old giant vase of flowers, just as a nice gesture. As I was in the studio, I took this vase of flowers, I chucked it through the control room window, busted the glass in the studio. It was just this, I was like, I want to fight. And, it was just like, but I knew he had this way of like drawing this raw primal element out of me. And he knew what he was doing, but it made me really like dig in and realize who I was. Like, was I this dude that's just going to like appease people's desires to like be the rock star that they want to be? Or am I going to fight for my life? And I chose to fight for my life. And that was one of the greatest decisions of my life. Yeah, I fell off the wagon a few times since then. It wasn't until 2012 that I finally put it down. But it inspired me to say, hey, look, man, I'm going to prove you wrong. And here I am, 2025, 13 years, free from alcohol, headlining arenas,
Yep.
and still making a huge impact on music, still having number one songs on the radio. And, it's sometimes that type of motivation is good, that like, oh, you can't do this, and, even my wife, we ran into my old A&R back in the day, and he and the producer took bets on like how many years we were going to make it. And my wife's, I hadn't seen this guy in years. And he pops in the room in LA. And my wife was like, hey, remember me? Remember me? The one you said I wasn't going to be around? Well, guess what? 27 years married, fool. And he kind of looked at me like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, yeah, man, you guys placed a wager against us back in the day. And, I think he placed a wager against us because I was kind of a little bit of a goofball. I wasn't, he could tell I was like, you know, I had eyes of fire and wanted to go touch the flame. And so,
Right.
but Kelly and I, we've fought through it and we've forgiven each other and really just fought for our relationship. And we just, I adore that girl straight up. Like she just flew in a couple hours ago and that's my boo boo. Where you at?
That's awesome. You have a strong family, a very
Oh
strong
yeah.
family bond, and your wife is obviously, from what I've gathered over the years, like the super glue.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, she even told. I remember running into you one time, and you were like, "I was like, what happened to the Japanese clothes you were wearing, like the whatever robe things you were wearing?" You're
Yeah.
like, my wife told me to tank. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
She the boss,
she's
she's
boss."
she's a strong personality. She is definitely my Sharon. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like she just and I love her for that. She's just somebody who's just so consistent and so real with me. And in a world full of people that could be your yes men and stuff like that, it's good to have people in your corner that are like, not so much.
Yeah,
That's it.
knock it the fuck off.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Totally.
That's great. Um, what are you TV binging anything right now? Any
Nope, not on TV right now. I'm just kind of on music. I'm gonna listen to a lot of Peso Pluma. It's like
okay.
banda Mexicano music, and really obsessed with that. I've been doing a bunch of I got a heavy bag hanging in the back of one of our semi trucks, and I'll go punch that heavy bag like I'm a boxer. every day before the show for 30 minutes. And I always find new ways to like kind of stay sharp and keep on it. And you know, yeah, I'm not really into a lot of like visual entertainment right now. I think I'm just so stimulated from this tour that it's like it's enough for me. It's like my show, I get to watch these people react to what we do every night.
Right. And that's your visual entertainment.
Absolutely.
So we talked about Last Resort being reimagined, and now obviously even If It Kills Me has been reimagined.
Yeah.
What song would you like to reimagine that is not yours, but we'd like to reimagine it Papa Roach style?
Oh man. We did a reimagination of a Firestarter by Prodigy.
Okay.
Fans can go Google that on YouTube. Just Google Papa Roach Firestarter, Prodigy, and we made our own version of that thing. We played it live for years, and we're actually thinking about the next round of this tour. We might bring it back. It's just there's something ferocious about it, and it's a vibe. Fans can go see it. I think it was a Sonic Temple Festival was the first time we performed it live on stage, and we did it in memory of Keith. May you rest in peace, Keith, from the Prodigy. And so yeah, we did that. And I think we nailed that one. I'm really proud of that one.
Well, I just wanted to remind you that I kicked your ass in Name That Tune.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I did.
I remember that.
And so I thought maybe they could reimagine a Poison song, because remember we were talking about Poison and they're obviously back. And
I love Poison, man. I had the pleasure of meeting Bret Michaels and the boys. Came up and sang Nothing But a Good Time with them. Like I just met Bret. He invited me on his bus and we hung out for a few minutes, and I was just like, tripping because it's like one of my childhood idols. And he was so gracious, so cool. And then I got stepped on stage, and that's when I met the band. I didn't meet the band before I went on stage. It was like, I'm tripping. I'm totally tripping. Yeah, huge Poison fan from way back.
Well, that's awesome. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna pull this up because Poison's back. We talked about Poison. Oh yeah, I kicked his ass and named that tune. It was fun.
Whooping, sometimes I gotta take a whooping, but guess what? I spray some tough on it and I get right back up.
There you go. MGM Grand tomorrow night here in Las Vegas, guys. With Rise Against, great choice, and Under Oath.
Yeah, it's a sick bill.
It's a nice bill. We're looking forward to you, man. We're looking forward to everything. And congratulations on everything. And
thank you.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow night.
Hey, Vegas. Vegas. I know you're out there listening. Y'all pull up to this show. It's going to be a banger. And thank you guys for all the years. Carlota, thank you so much for all the support throughout all these years. And it's cool to keep reconnecting and, talking rock and talking shop. And, I look forward to you kicking my ass in music trivia again sometime.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
You're on. All right, love. Peace.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.